Holy Ghost is on the move.
Yeah, Firebirds had a lot of momentum.
Right from the jump for the Firebirds, who look really good.
Hello everyone and welcome to another edition of Holy Ghost Prep Soccer. I'm Caden Seward. I'll be your one-man show today for broadcasting, where we have the Holy Ghost Prep Firebirds taking on the Haverford High School Forwards to start off with your late Thursday afternoon. So the first play of the game was kicked out of bounds quickly by HGP, and now the Firebirds with a quick offensive chance, and they put it in just 28 seconds into the game. It's Labrant Davis again off another beautiful feed by Fanelli, and it's a 1-0 Firebirds lead quickly. So the Firebirds' key to victory this season has been these quick starts, and they certainly get a quick one here. Only 22 seconds off the clock before one is put on this Firebird scoreboard. So right off the face-off, the Firebirds get their foot on it quickly, and they force a turnover from the forwards. Now Labrant Davis up along this near side. Yeah, that's right. I got it. So here comes Haverford up along the far side, over near the Firebird bench. The forward's looking with a quick answer. A Firebird goes to the ground. Looks like Ruppersberger along the far side. He gets back up quickly. No whistle sounds. The Firebird's now going to take back over off the loose ball. And Haverford regains. Now Haverford with an offensive chance. And a great sliding stop by the defense of the Firebirds. Anthony Ramos sliding out in front of the pass to deflect it away. And now the Firebirds will go on the offensive with Ruppersberger. And Ruppersberger launches one down the far side. Here come the Firebirds again. With separation, it's Herrera. Over near the corner. Wind up. Pass out in front. And Davis scored again! Labrant Davis again! Under 2 minutes into regulation. 1 minute and 41 seconds to be exact. And Labrant Davis is on fire. Or they say no goal. They did indeed say no goal. That looked like a clear-cut goal. It is whistled off. That looked like a 2-0 Firebird lead, and Davis gets robbed of one. Now the Firebirds with a quick possible answer. It's Herrera again, the receiver along the far side. And the ball trickles out of bounds over near the corner. It won't be a corner kick for the Firebirds if it is Firebird possession, but it will not be. The forwards take over. So Haverford High School, the header into center. Price awaiting the pass. Price fires a shot on goal, and it'll be a one-hop scoop up for goalkeeper Harrison McClements. So the kick will be booted away up again at midfield. Both teams with the opportunity to take it for themselves, and they both play hot potato with it. Now the Firebirds backing up into their defensive zone. It's Brian Niemczak. Niemczak, the center for Fanelli, gets deflected before it reaches him. Haverford with a chance to go on the offensive, but it's turned away by the Firebirds quickly. Now Price with the ball. Price lost one towards the net for Fanelli. Fanelli misreads it. And coming way out of his net is Harrison McClements to make his second save. McClements sends it down. The Firebirds with a great defensive play. But now Haverford with an answer. Up along the far side. Again with separation. It will sneak through two defenders. One of them looks like being Easton Ruppersberger, and the other being Price. And it goes into the arms of Tim Devine, getting his name called for the first time today, and probably the first of many. Now Devine sends one down. It'll be headed and chest-balled forward by a forward at midfield. Now Haverford looking to hold on to the ball as long as possible. Now it's Davis who has the early goal. Davis lofts it up. It was headed by Price, but it goes right to Haverford. Now here's Niemczak. Niemczak with more good defense. Ruppersberger tries to get on the action. Haverford moving the ball around. Going around the horn with it. They take it back up to the top of the midfield. Now the forwards go over near the near side. Look to get some action from the left. And it's quickly turned away by Price. It stays in bounds. Davis was the intended target of the pass, but the forwards hold on to it. And it will go out of bounds off the leg of Jack Lacey. So Price with a two-hand forward toss inbound. Lacey heads it up over the head of Labrant Davis, but Ruppersberger then heads it back at midfield. So the Firebirds take back over. Here's Jace Bauer. Bauer over the forwards bench. Pass to center for Labrant Davis. And a little bit of miscommunication there between Davis and Justin Burns. Now Haverford again comes up the far side. Over past the scorer's box. And a player from both teams goes to the ground. Or go to the ground. That was Justin Burns for the Firebirds. And a forward with him. So now the Firebirds take it back down to Tim Devine. Devine lines up and clears it. And a whistle sounds as Sean Boyle jumped up into the air to chest it away from a Firebird, which looked to be Labrant Davis. And possession awarded to Haverford. So Haverford sends it down. Out in front of the direct box for the Firebirds. Now the forward take it on the far side. Bauer quickly turns it away. Jace Bauer up along the far side again. And it passes deflected in the middle by a forward. Tyler Cohen. But now here come the Firebirds again. Right off, they get their own rebound from the deflection. And now Davis coming along the near side. Davis dumps it off into the corner for Fanelli. Fanelli and Davis going back and forth. Now Fanelli takes it to the corner. Centering pass. A Firebird goes down. It looks like Burns. Burns now pulls out of the box. He'll come back to the corner being double teamed. He goes to the ground. The ball stays in play. Now it's affected back out in front. Price waits for it. Price tries to get the reset. And more double team defense by the forwards. And it'll go out of bounds off of Price along the near side. So the forwards take over. Great defense from Haverford early on, trying to prevent a 2-0 hole. Now it's again lofted into the air by the Firebird. That's Anthony Ramos. Now Ruppersberger heads it back towards the net for Fanelli. Fanelli leads it and bounces it off of his right shin. Now here's Haverford up along the near side. It'll be dropped off. Now Ramos again sent it to center. Looking for Davis. Davis heads it towards the net. Fanelli wasn't looking, and it gets back behind Fanelli. Then Harrison McClemens kicks it out of bounds, so it'll be Firebird ball in good position with Ruppersberger at midfield. Ruppersberger another centering pass intended for Fanelli. It gets to him. That's Herrera. Herrera dumps it off to Mike Cancelliere. Cancelliere back down to the corner again for Lucas Herrera. Herrera tried to get it towards the net, but a sliding stop by Haverford, and we have our first corner kick opportunity of the game. It'll be Lucas Herrera sending it towards the net for the Firebirds. Up 1-0. About 8.5 minutes into this first half. Herrera lines it up, lofts it towards the net, and it goes off the inside of the post. Almost in. It was perfectly on target, just a bad bounce off the far post along this near side, but the farthest from Herrera. It stays 1-0, and again the forwards get away with one. McClemens sends it back up to midfield. Davis missed it. The Firebirds again looking to bounce back. And here it's Haverford. Haverford on the offensive. A centering pass now is loose out in front, shot, and it's deflected. And a great deflection it was by Jace Bauer. Saving some work from Tim Devine. So it's now Sean Boyle who is going to inbound it, but he'll leave it for Legend Russell. Russell, a two-hand forward pass. It floats in. It'll be headed back out to center by the forwards. And now a forward went to the ground. A late whistle after the play. And it looks like Guji Seedman was the forward that went down. And Haverford will be awarded possession. So Haverford's offensive attempt goes sailing over the net with Tim Devine awaiting patiently in it. It went about 2 feet over the net off the shot, so Holy Ghost stays in the lead 1-0. Devine lines it up. Devine holds, and he'll send it back up to midfield. He'll be headed back by a forward, goes down across midfield, and now Haverford looking to go on the offensive. That's quickly turned away by the Firebirds of Easton Ruppersberger. Now the Firebirds again, cutting through the defense. Lucas Herrera. Herrera goes tumbling to the ground, and a clear penalty called against the Haverford High School forwards. A good call there by the referee, as Herrera was slicing through the defense and went tumbling down. And now it'll be him and Daniel Price, who will each line up next to the ball. There was Bauer and Price up near midfield, at the very top of the right face-off circle, or the right main circle. And now Price sent it towards the net. It goes a little to the left. He was passing it towards Labrant Davis, who does a nice piece of footwork over near the sideline, keeps it in bounds, but it looked to be out of bounds beforehand. So Haverford holds on to possession. Now the forward's lifted up along the near side. It's bounced forward for Labrant Davis. Davis looking for a lane. He can't find one. Pass to be cleared, attempted to be cleared out by the forwards. But now the Firebirds have it with Herrera. Herrera to Fanelli. Fanelli with a shot, and it just misses to the left. The far side of the net from us, and it stays 1-0. It was a great feed from Ruppersberger to Herrera, and then from Herrera to Fanelli. Fanelli just couldn't get enough on it. So it'll be a corner kick for the Firebirds. It'll be sent in by Herrera. Hit it up into the air by a forward, and it's cleared out of the direct offensive zone. And now Haverford looks to go on the offensive and turn it around. Bauer rejects the decision. Bauer rejects that, and it goes out of bounds just past the Haverford High School bench. So now it'll be a two-hand forward pass in for Haverford. It goes quickly out of bounds off another forward. And Jace Bauer and the Firebirds are awarded possession. Bauer runs it up. Two-hand forward pass. It's a one bounce looking for Fanelli. He gets there. Fanelli, a beautiful feed for Cancelliere, but nobody home in front of the net. And it rolls into the waiting arms of McClements. McClements drop kicks it over near Ruppersberger, but it goes over his head. Haverford on the attack. A Firebird and a forward both go to the ground. No whistle sounds. It looks to us be their legs tangled up. So Haverford stays on the offensive. Head balls and passes being returned from each other. Now the Firebirds the 2-on-1, and it's turned away by Haverford. Now again, the Firebirds go on the offensive with Fanelli. Fanelli goes to the ground, and Haverford again takes over. And now Ruppersberger takes over, and it goes right back to Haverford. Who wants the ball? Nobody at the moment. And Haverford running around with it at midfield. And Haverford again with another turnover to Ruppersberger. Ruppersberger loses it. Haverford again along the far side. Over near the Firebird bench. It's quickly turned away by Lucas Herrera. Cancelliere waiting for a pass. Looking to help out Herrera. Now Herrera takes it himself. Herrera passes it up. Looking for Fanelli. It gets to Fanelli. Fanelli along the far side to Labrant Davis. And Davis is turned away. Now again, he comes back and fires one just over the top right corner of the net. Or top left corner of the net. So after a multitude of turnovers at midfield, the Firebirds went on the offensive attack with Fanelli and Herrera. Nothing comes of it. And with 25 minutes left to go in the first half, it stays 1-0 Firebirds. So here's the Firebirds in midfield with Ramos. Ramos and Ruppersberger. Ruppersberger sends it down for Labrant Davis, but he misread his line, and it lands nowhere near his intended target. So Harrison McClements again. He's been busy early on. He allowed the early goal to Davis, had another one get by him, but it was blown off, and since then has had no mistakes. So now here's the Firebirds up along the near side. It's Bauer tried to go on the offensive. He lost it, and now he'll inbound it. So it's Price that'll inbound it. Price, a two-hand forward pass. It bounces around from Ramos. Ramos sends it down for Labrant Davis. Davis tried to pivot, lost control of the ball. And now Davis in a forward, battling forward deep into Haverford defensive zone. Now here's Fanelli. Fanelli tries to cut on in. And it's taken away from Burns. So now here's Haverford up along the far side again. The forwards cut back. And they'll pass to center with Owen Mulhern. And it's lofted towards the net by Mulhern. And Devine will scoop it up for just the second time today. Devine with a drop kick of his own. It has a lot of hang time. And it goes into the Haverford defensive zone. Headed towards the net by Fanelli. Fanelli goes to the ground. But Labrant Davis and the out-of-bounds ball will be called against Davis as it went out of bounds far from the net along this near side. Oh, so the Firebirds will have possession. It looks like a penalty goes against Haverford. So Cancelliere and Price will line it up at the top of the half circle in front of the main box. Cancelliere fires, and it goes way high of the net. So 21:50 to go in the first half. Cancelliere's shot goes high, so it stays 1-0. Here is McClements. McClements steadies it and lines it towards the midfield to be headed into the air by Haverford and then taken down near the net by Eric Lutz. Lutz with the pass down and it'll be fired off speed towards the net by another Haverford High School forward. It was looked to be Griffin Pushker. And that was Okafor Norke who shot it towards the net for Haverford. So Devine sent it down to midfield. The Firebirds looking to return it away with Niemczak and Bauer. Bauer is able to take it away near the corner. Keeps it in bounds. Toe tapping along the sideline. That's a centering pass by Haverford. Okafor with a shot. And it's saved out in front. Okafor Norke with a shot on net, which was turned away by a Firebird defenseman who looked like Price. So Devine, a low-hanging line drive intended for Labrant Davis, who gets his head on it, has it towards the net. And Fanelli was pushed off of it. looked for a penalty, didn't get one, and he goes right back to action. Fanelli passes it to center for Ruppersberger. Ruppersberger down the line for Herrera, and it's headed away before it got to Herrera. So now Haverford along the far side, in between the Firebird and forward bench. 2 passes to center. Davis deflects it in the air. And here come the Firebirds with 2 straight headers. Fanelli is flying. He'll jump it off for Labrant Davis. Davis, who has the goal today for the Firebirds, trying to cut in between. And more great defense from the forwards. Now here is Daniel Price. Price loses it. And James Laniak for the forwards, able to keep the Firebirds away from the ball. Whistles all sound. Shoving match after. Fanelli with words. And more shoving coming after the play. Fanelli is pumped up. It looked like Fanelli and Okafor Norke had exchanged words after Fanelli went to the ground. And Fanelli pleading his case to the referee to make sure he doesn't get a yellow card going against him. So Nork had taken off the field. Looks to be just for a routine sub. Fanelli, it appears, will stay on for the moment. Ruppersberger trying to defend his teammate. Doesn't seem like anything will come of it. But a lot of extracurricular activity after the play there between Norke and Fanelli. So both teams were trying to sort out exactly what happened. Fanelli went to the ground. Norke didn't fall on top of him, but he was stumbling after the play, seeming to regain his balance as Fanelli was coming up off the ground. And Fanelli visibly angry after that. And then again, both players just started exchanging words. A few shoves were thrown, but nothing really past that. So Haverford awarded possession of the ball up near midfield. They'll have 2 men on it, one of them being Nicky DiDonato. Now he'll come off the ball a little bit. He'll center himself in midfield. Labrant Davis is waiting patiently. He has the 1 goal today for the Firebirds. And had another one that was blown off. Both teams lining up in the outskirts of the box that sits in front of Tim Devine. Devine relaxed in his smaller box out in front of the net, moving his teammates around. Now it's Justin Burns who inches his way up past the semicircle. And the Firebirds look to make a sub. This delay is a little longer than some NFL review plays, and that's really hard to do. So no one really seems to be doing much after. Both players that were involved in the scuffle, both players that were involved in the scuffle in the previous play, Norke for the forwards and Fanelli for the Firebirds, are both off the field. And finally, we'll be back under play with 19-13 to go in the first half. The forwards line it up, send it towards the net. It'll be headed to center and deflected right up into the air by another Firebird. So here's Haverford up along the far side. They'll try to cut through the defense. And it's turned away easily by Niemczak. Niemczak lofts it forward for Jace Bauer. Here's Bauer flying up the sideline, and Bauer trips over his own feet. No penalty called. And Labrant Davis deflects the pass. It'll go out of bounds. Yes, it will. Look like a Haverford forward may try to keep it in along the far side of Sean Boyle, but he decided not to. So the Firebirds will keep it. The Firebirds will inbound it with a Firebird and a forward battling forward up in front of the forwards bench. And then a Haverford defender send it back towards the sideline, almost out of bounds. And it will wind up trickling out of bounds. Two-hand forward pass in by Burns. Will be headed up into the air and over near the sideline, trickling down into no man's land for the Firebirds. Snyder's Haverford trying to go to center, and it's quickly turned away. Here's Labrant Davis, and Davis had an opportunity to receive a pass that just didn't quite reach him. Now Haverford cutting into center. And the Firebirds quickly turn that offensive possession away. And now Haverford again will regain the ball up along the far side. And Devine scoops it up. Devine calling his players back. Patrolling the outskirts of the box as he usually does. Steadies the ball. Drop kicks it. Sends it across midfield. It'll bounce before it hits anyone. Labrant Davis chasing for it. Davis with an opening. Labrant Davis. And he scores! Labrant Davis. Off the beautiful pass downfield from Tim Devine in goal. Davis had an opening, moved past one man, was in trouble with another, got past him, and it had a 1-on-none with a goaltender and the net. And he found the latter of the two. 2-0 Firebirds, both off Labrant Davis. So right off the face-off, Ruppersberger for the Firebirds headed up and straight up into the air. Now at midfield, it's Burns. Burns sent it down again for the red-hot Labrant Davis. Davis comes it off again for Burns. And now Burns and Davis going back and forth, and it's turned away by Haverford. So the forward decides to take it downfield, and it's deflected off the back of Easton Ruppersberger. So now here's Haverford trying to go on the offensive, and Burns sidestepped it out of bounds, and it's blown off on the Firebird. Will inbound. Here are the forwards, up along the near side. It's Price for the Firebirds, who sent it down to midfield. It'll be caught, so play was blown dead. And Haverford will have the offensive possession. Now here is Haverford. They'll study the ball. It's lofted towards the net, and Devine catches it in midair. So Tim Devine faked the dump off of Price, and now drop kicks it at midfield. It's sailing towards Lucas Herrera. He won't get there. He'll be headed directly out of bounds by a forward, and it'll be inbounded by Price. So here is Price. With a little bit of a stutter step, it'll be kicked out of bounds by a forward with Robert Priestley. So then right off the inbound again by Price, it's again taken away by Haverford. Now back and forth action for the Firebirds with Burns and Price going back and forth again. Burns lofts it up. Headed into the air by Cancelliere, back towards the offensive zone. More chest balls. Now Cancelliere takes it. Cancelliere with a bit of a pivot. And more good footwork for him as he finds the open Herrera. Herrera along the near side. Herrera with the hole. Herrera tries to cut on in. And a sliding stop by a Haverford High School forward is sent back out the center for Ruppersberger, who misplayed it. Now sent down again by Ramos. into the center for Herrera. And Haverford looks to be safe for the moment as they dump it off slowly to their sideline, and it's kicked away. It's Cancelliere for Ruppersberger. Ruppersberger. Back to Burns. Burns holds it. Dumps it off for Price. And Price lofts it towards the net, headed up into the air for Cancelliere, and Cancelliere lost it. Now here's Haverford. The Firebirds still trying to press in. There'll be a one-bounce pass with the intended receiver for the Haverford forwards as Okafor Norcat. So here's Haverford on the offensive, saved by Devine. It's loose out in front and put in for Haverford. Or maybe not. It is not. Blown off, a second goal blown off today for either team. Now one for each side. Oh wait, it is a goal. Never mind. It seemed to be blown off for the moment. No one was celebrating, and the ball was being run back out to midfield, but it is a goal for Haverford. So it's 2-1. And now Haverford gets the ball right back off the face-off. So could the forwards quickly tie the game up at 2 and have a lot of momentum? Here is Haverford with Sean Boyle. Boyle going back and forth. And now Firebird goes skidding. It's out in front, and Devine this time is able to scoop it up. But Haverford, for a split second, may have had an opportunity to make it 2-2. Now here's Labrant Davis. Davis trying to pass it forward for Lucas Herrera. It was deflected off by a forward, so Herrera will have the duty of inbounding it. And now I'll pass that off to Daniel Price. Price passes it forward. And a forward knocks it out of bounds before it got to Labrant Davis. Here is Price. Price, a two-handed pass towards the net. It's Cancelliere. Cancelliere looking to get somewhere to go, and he's boxed out by a forward. And that's Eric Watts. Another drop pass over in midfield, and they've been mishit by McClements in goal for the forwards, but Haverford takes over anyway. So here's HGP, tried to go on the offensive again, and it's kicked out of bounds by Burns on the far side. So 11.5 to play in this first half. It was an action-packed first minute for the Firebirds as they went up 1-0 and then almost a quick 2-0. That second goal was blown off, and it took them another 15 minutes-ish to get that second goal officially on the board. Then Haverford with an answer just 2 short minutes ago to make it 2-1. They almost tied it up. But for the moment, the Firebirds have the ball. There's a two-hand forward inbounds pass. It's Bauer who was looking for somewhere to go, but it's turned over to Haverford. Here are the forwards. It's a drop-off, slow-rolling ground ball pass to the sideline. And it's Owen Mulhern running around with it. And Mulhern dumps it off, intended for another forward. And the Firebirds' Lucas Herrera almost went on the offensive. Now Haverford goes on the offensive again. Inside the box, out in front. Pass to center. Headed towards the net. And scores! Haverford has tied the game up at 2 with 10.5 to play in this first half. Sean Boyle looked to have been the one to put it in, but it was hard to tell. It was along the far side of the net. And a lot of jerseys were jumbled up. But nonetheless, it is a 2-2 tie. 9:59 to play in regulation. not even done to play in the first half. Burns slaps it towards the net. He'll get his own pass, dumps it off for Labrant Davis. Now Davis running around with it, trying to find a hole. Lofts it towards the net, and it goes out of bounds behind the net. And now Harrison McClements will hold on to it and dump it off for a corner kick for Lucas Herrera. And now it's lofted towards the net. It'll be well overshot by Herrera. A forward went down. That looked to be Okafor Norke. He'll get back up, and it'll be forward ball. Now here's Haverford with a loft towards the net. It's headed up into the air by the Firebirds. Here come the forwards along the near side. The pass to center. A handball should have been issued against Haverford, but no handball called. And now Burns takes it. Burns the pass, and it was deflected off by a shoulder of a forward. And now Burns comes down along the near side with Labrant Davis. Davis to center. Headed up into the air and just over the net by Fanelli. Fanelli had an opportunity, just couldn't get enough of his head on it. And it remains 2-2 with 8:09 to play in the first. So here is McClements. Back up to midfield. It's headed up into the air by Ruppersberger. Now the Firebirds look to take over. And they will. It's Herrera and Cancelliere. Cancelliere with a little shuffle pass to the side for Lucas Herrera. Herrera then goes to reset it with Ethan Beede. Beede to center, and it was deflected before it can get to the leg of Labrant Davis. Drop kicked by McClements, and it goes out of bounds. So it's Maurece Jean-Briand who will try to inbound with a two-hand forward pass, and it goes out of bounds again. And again, Briand tries to do it over. And it's passed back to Briand off the inbound. Briand with a centering feed that's deflected out in front. So it's hit into the air by Cancelliere. Cancelliere looking to contain. And now here's Haverford up along the far side. Niemczak skies it. It bounces. It takes a weird hop in front of Jean-Briand. Goes over his head. And then out of bounds along the Firebird bench off of a Haverford High School forward. So Jean-Briand inbounds for the third time in the last 45 seconds. Here come the Firebirds with head balls going forward. Labrant Davis was awaiting a pass. Didn't get it. And here's Burns. Burns turns it over, but Cancelliere quickly gets the ball right back for the Firebirds. Cancelliere with a quick dump off to Easton Ruppersberger. Ruppersberger with a ground ball pass to Burns. Burns goes back to Cancelliere. Cancelliere stutter steps and lost to the far side for Lucas Herrera. And that ball is headed back up into the air. Norke looking for somewhere to go at midfield for Haverford. And I'll dump it off to his teammate. Loft down the side again. Ruppersberger tries to stop it, and he will. And that's Price. Price dribbles it up. Price lofts it downfield again for Davis. The speedy Davis looks like he'll catch up to it. He will not. And Nicky DiDonato slid under Davis to keep him from getting to the ball. So Davis will inbound. 5:22 to go in the first half. Labrant Davis passes up to Lucas Herrera. Herrera. Some fancy footwork out in front, but it's turned over to Haverford. Now the Firebirds try to contain out in front with Ethan Beede, and then it's sent towards the net by Cancelliere. So Haverford takes over. Punted up into the air by McClements. It's Price at the near side. Price dribbles it up. Here's Burns. Burns with a battle. Burns cuts back. Sidestepping to Beede. Beede lost one towards the center of the net. And now Davis tried to play containment. Did not work. And Haverford lost that pass towards the sideline. Now here are the forwards. DiDonato. DiDonato goes to the ground. So does a Firebird and Price. And Price is holding his ankle. Neither player has gotten up. And that is not something you want to see if you're a Firebird fan. So Price appears to be the Firebird down. The forward, it looks like DiDonato is up. He's running to the sideline. Price is also up, hobbling on this near side. So clock's still ticking with 3:40, and now it's stopped at 3:46 of the play in the first half. So whistle sounds. The ball will be delivered to Jean Briand along the far side. And Price will try to walk it off. So Price will come off. The Firebirds will sub on another player. And it's Jean Briand passing it down near the Haverford bench. It's headed back towards the net. Here's Holy Ghost trying to go on the offensive. A forward went down, no penalty called, and it's a good no call by the referee. And now it's centered along the far side by Haverford with another great pass, but it goes unanswered. It's tossed up into the air by Jace Bauer. Here's Burns. Burns with an opening. Burns gets tripped. That one should be a call, and it is. So Burns draws a tripping call, and the Firebirds will have an opportunity to go up 3-2 in these closing 3 minutes. So here's Lucas Herrera. They go quickly. Herrera tries to catch the forwards off guard. Battling for the ball in the corner. Still stays in. Cancelliere waiting for it. Herrera holds on to it. He tries to do it himself, and he turns over to Haverford, and is deflected by Cancelliere. Got towards the net, but then it's then cleared out top to Ramos. And another Firebird is down hobbling. That looks like to be Lucas Herrera. But Herrera gets up. He'll walk this one off. And it appears he'll stay in the game as Price has made his way back to the bench after walking along the outside of the field. So here's Cancelliere, dumps it off to Jean Briand. Briand along this near far side. Here come the Firebirds trying to move in. It's lofted into the air. Headed back by Burns. Or by Ramos. But Ramos turns it over to Haverford. Here come the forwards from midfield. Haverford trying to cut in along this near side. It's Norke. Norke with a hole. Norke shot. And it goes way wide and to the left of the net. As Devine came out of it to try to make the play, but it had no play to make. So 1:16 to play in this first half. It is deadlocked at 2 with 2 consecutive goals for Haverford. Devine lines up in the box. Devine sent it down in midfield. It's headed into the air by Burns. Now Burns gives it up. Here come the Firebirds. It's LeBron Davis. Davis looking for a first half hat trick. He'll have an opportunity to. Loses it. Tries to take it out and reset. He'll pass it to Lucas Herrera. Herrera trying to move in on it. He'll hold on to the ball. Wiggling, weaving, shooting, and just going high to the net was Lucas Herrera. 30 seconds to play in the first half, and an action-packed last 30 seconds it was, as Labrant Davis and Lucas Herrera almost put the Firebirds back on top. Davis, as I said before, 1 goal away from a hat trick. So final 10 seconds to play. It looks like Haverford will hold on to it, and they'll send it down to midfield with a lot of hang time. 2 seconds, 1 second, and there's zeros on the score clock, but zeros on the scoreboard, but not on the score, not on the boxes where the scores are for either team, as those both have 2s on them. For the Firebirds, both by Labrant Davis, 1 early on, 1 in the middle of the half. But for the Haverford High School forwards, it came in the exact opposite. 1 in the middle, and then 1 towards the very end to tie the game up at 2. So Haverford battles back. The Firebirds seem to be without Price for the near future. Hopefully he can come back on the second half. It'll be a 9.5-minute halftime for both teams. And as I said before, it's 2-2 after 40 with 40 more left to go. I'm good. All right, welcome back to Firebird Varsity Soccer. We have the Firebirds taking on the Haverford High School Forwards. With 40 minutes of play down and 40 minutes left to go, we'll see how this 2-2 tie works out into a final score. So right off the opening face-off, Haverford Forward went down early on, and the Haverford Forwards will take over at midfield. So clock stop with 39 minutes and 37 seconds to play in the second half. So Haverford send out one of their big-legged midfielders to launch it towards the net. Players from both teams huddled up in front of the net and huddled up in front of Tim Devine, who has not had a lot of action yet today. Haverford sends it down over near the net. It's headed into the air and shuffled towards the net with Devine, but never got there. And whistle sound calls for a penalty go answered by the Firebirds, so HGP takes over. So Tim Devine will come well out of his own net, and he'll be the one to clear this one down. So here's Devine, a little bit of a blooper pass out in front, intended for Maurece Jaydan, who got some of his head on it, but not much to redirect it. And here's Lucas Herrera. Herrera and Jaydan going back and forth and weaving in and out. Brian goes down, catches himself with one hand on the grass, and the ball will be turned over to Haverford High School with Charlie Metz in possession. Metz inbounds it. And then it's Robert Priestley with the ball. And Priestley clears it all the way down, intended for Sean Boyle, but it's picked up by Tim Devine. Devine again runs away with it and patrols the outside of his box. Now comes way out of it, and again will launch it down. Now here's Lucas Herrera. Herrera loses it. Herrera and Beede going back and forth. Herrera goes tumbling to the ground. It looked like Okafor Norke had his hands in the air to prevent a penalty being called against him, which he did successfully. And then more head balls going up into the air. One of them out of bounds, the second one out of bounds. So the Firebirds will have possession. Two-hand inbound pass by Jaydan. And now a scuffle for the ball along the near side. It'll be won by Haverford with Charlie Metz. Metz tosses it forward for Norke. And now Ford goes down. No whistle sounds, but the Firebirds take over. And now here comes HGP on the offensive possession. Burns out in front, looking to do something with it. Burns with a stumble, regains his balance, and then dumps it off for Lucas Herrera. And here's Herrera. Tries to go through the legs. Burns tries to keep it in the offensive zone. He does. And now Ford goes down. And claps coming from the Haverford bench. So the Forwards take over. Robert Priestley will be the one to kick it down. Priestley, a line drive kick to midfield. It'll be headed out by a forward before it is taken away by the Firebirds. Ethan Beede looking to do something with it. Beede. And Beede gets crossed up. Here comes Haverford. A forward went sliding into it. Looked like Lucas Herrera in front of the net. And then Beede lofts it up in the air for Herrera. Herrera goes for the far side with Labrant Davis, but he overleads him. Both goaltenders well out of their own nets. Here's a two-hand forward pass for the Firebirds. Up along the far side, it's lined up towards midfield. HGP looking to go somewhere. Ethan Beede. A pass across. Now here come the Firebirds again, or here come the forwards again. The Firebirds looking to try to take it away from Owen Mulhern. Here comes Haverford. The pass all the way down. It's Price. The pass to center for Tim Devine, and Devine gives it right back to Price. So Price, who was seen hobbling off the field in this first half with an ankle injury, comes right back on. He is full strength, touching the ball a lot in those last 30 seconds. So now here's Ethan Beede at midfield. Beede lost it over the head of Lucas Herrera. Looks like he's leading him to the near side. Herrera doesn't get there first, and it's tapped out of bounds by a forward, Charlie Metz. And Metz mad at himself after the play. It's Lucas Herrera who will give it to Jean Briand and turn over the inbound duties. Briand, one bounce pass in to Ciocca. And now Briand gets the ball right back. Went to center, looking for Labrant Davis. And now Daniel Price gets the pass that went all the way down near the forwards bench. Price lines up, lost it towards the net. It's headed into the air by Ciocca. And now here are the Haverford forwards who loft it down the near side. And 33 and a half to play in the second. It remains 2-2. Tim Devine gets the ball on the drop-off pass. Now it's a slow one-hop ground ball to Jean Briand. Briand goes to center for Ruppersberger. Now Ruppersberger being backed up. Drops it off for Herrera. Herrera in the air to the other Herrera. It was Oscar Herrera going to Lucas Herrera. Lucas Herrera couldn't control it. Now Ruppersberger over to Jean Briand. Briand to Lucas Herrera. Lucas Herrera going back and forth. Dump off for Ruppersberger. Easton Ruppersberger going down the far side for Labrant Davis. Davis to center, and the head ball was missed by Ciocca. Back to center again. Lofted into the air and just wide of the net. A goal attempt by the Firebirds. Nothing comes of it. And it'll be McClements who will line the ball up along the far top left corner of his box to clear it out. McClements to midfield to be headed up by a Firebird and then taken down by Haverford. Here's Norke. Norke loses it. Lucas Herrera. Herrera to his brother Oscar. Here's Haverford again trying to go on the offensive. It's Burns in coverage. Burns going down, and it's cleared out by Price. And he'll loft it almost over the fence and almost into I-95. Another two-hand forward pass. It's headed up into the air. The Firebirds play good defense, and it's Oscar Herrera who will clear to his brother. Lucas Herrera goes back to Oscar Herrera. The Herrera brothers playing hot potato. Lucas Herrera cutting back to center. Loses it. Lines it to center. Headed it back up by Beede, and Beede could go nowhere. And now his turn is a quick turnover. It's another dump off to Lucas Herrera. Herrera was shoved. Herrera goes down to the ground, and he's taken down. And a little slow to get up, but he will. So now the Firebirds with a good chance to go up 3-2 with 30 minutes and 49 seconds to play in regulation. It's a line towards the net. and almost caught, but it's more deflected forward and pushed forward by Harrison McClements in goal for Haverford. And the forwards let us see another day as a tie game. Head balls galore, and it's Ramos who drops it off for Devine. Devine, a high-hanging pass to midfield. Ruppersberger tried to head the ball and wound up headbutting a Haverford forward. He'll help him get up, and the yellow card is issued against Ruppersberger. So Ruppersberger will come off. So Haverford with a chance to line it towards the net of Tim Devine. Devine not having his greatest of days. He's allowed 2 goals and has made only a couple more saves. But this time he'll try to catch it. It does not work out. It skipped out in front of him. He couldn't control it, but the play is blown dead, as Devine was calling for, so he'll get the play blown dead. And now Devine lines it up and fires a low-hanging line drive to Oscar Herrera. And Herrera loses it quickly, but Cancelliere regains possession for the Firebirds. He'll up it towards the sidelines. And now it's Herrera again. Herrera to center for Burns. Burns has that pass deflected. And Burns looks like he knocked it out of bounds. So it's Haverford again with the ball, with Charlie Metz. So here is the inbound. It's loose out in midfield. Haverford takes over with Metz. Metz will pass it down for Herrera. And now here's Lucas Herrera. Herrera going back and forth at midfield. Looking for somewhere else to go. Goes back to Ethan Beede. Beede with a shot on goal, and it's a one bounce skip right up into the hands of Harrison McClements. McClements lofts it downfield again for Jean Briand. Briand, a player goes down. Briand didn't think there should be a penalty called against him. It seemed to be a 50-50 call. It goes against the Firebirds. Jean Briand discouraged at the call. So possession goes to Haverford. So Haverford gets a shot on goal, but it's easily picked up by Devine. Tim Devine again patrols the outskirts of the box. And now Devine lofts it up in midfield. And now here come the forwards. And whistles quickly sound. And the Firebirds turn it over back to Haverford. It was Price who had the whistle called against them. So the forwards line up in midfield. It's Haverford who launches it towards the net. Chest balled up. Lofted over near the near side. As Lucas Herrera. Herrera pivots. Spins. Herrera up in midfield. And it almost turns it over to Haverford, but they'll keep going. Here come the Firebirds with Labrant Davis. And Davis is a little bit misled along the far side. Now Haverford tries to take over on the quick one-man up as Davis tries to catch up. Here's Haverford. It's a head ball towards the net, and it'll be corralled by Devine as he just got past the waiting leg of Brian Niemczak. Devine, another drop kick punt. It'll be taken away by Haverford, and it'll be a lined pass down the sidelines and onto the track out of bounds. So here's the one bounce inbound for Lucas Herrera. Herrera jumps off the Beede, and Beede clears it for Labrant Davis. Davis with a one-legged bounce pass to center, intended for Thomas Walsh. And now Walsh gets the pass from Labrant Davis. Walsh back to Lucas Herrera. Herrera, left side for Davis. Loose out in front, and a diving save by Harrison McClements. So the save by McClements keeps the game tied at 2. Labrant Davis, again, 1 goal away from a hat trick. He has both the goals today for the Firebirds. Now Ramos takes it. Ramos goes to Burns. Burns loses it, but the Firebirds hang on to it. It's lofted down by Labrant Davis. Davis along the near side. He'll lose it, and it's cleared out again by Haverford. It'll bounce along the sidelines and kept in by the Firebirds' Daniel Price, and Haverford has the ball. Here are the forwards with Owen Mulhern. Mulhern, a 2-bounce pass to center. Burns going back and forth with it with Lucas Herrera, and it's Herrera who has the ball at the moment. Herrera takes it to center. Here's Labrant Davis. Davis loses it. It's kicked out of bounds by Robert Priestley. Oh, no, it stays in. It looked to be clearly out of bounds, but then Priestley lofts it and it hits the chair of the scorer's table at midfield, so it'll go out of bounds off of Priestley anyway. Now here are the Firebirds right off the inbound, and that ball we kicked out right out of bounds again. So the Firebirds will redo it. It's a 2-hand forward pass in. It's batted up into the air out in front and cleared by the forwards. Haverford looking for somewhere to go. It's Norke. And Norke led Owen Mulhern downfield. Mulhern seemed to have kicked it out of bounds. And I'll say it's off the Firebirds, which it will be. Now here's the inbound by Haverford. The forwards are now on offense. A line drive pass towards the net. It's headed up into the air, and the Firebirds will clear it out of the direct offensive zone, and now clear it out of that zone entirely with Thomas Walsh jumping it off for Burns. Burns going through the legs, looking for Labrant Davis. Davis will get there. Over on the far side, Labrant Davis. Again along the far side, toe tapping along the sidelines was Haverford. Now stays along the sidelines and cleared away by the Firebirds. Haverford with a quick possession regain with James Laniak. Haverford again with possession. Here are the Firebirds, a centering pass for Beede. Beede goes down, and a whistle sounds against Haverford. And Beede gets up quickly. So the Firebirds have possession for the moment. It looks like Price will be the one to send it down towards the net. He will be. It's out in front, and it's caught by McClements. 21:40 left to go in the second half. It's lofted up into the air by McClements with a lot of hang time. And it's headed on the side towards the net for Haverford, and it's a sidestep out of bounds along the bench for the Firebirds. So the Haverford forwards at their own bench. A pass in is lofted up into the air. Here comes Haverford on the attack, and a centering pass is stopped and turned away by Niemczak, who quickly clicks it out of bounds. And Haverford will redo their inbound. There's a two-hand forward pass. It's deflected up. Here come the Firebirds. It's lined over the center. Over the head of Walsh. HGP up across midfield. Now it's lined back to center. Beede kicks it away. Now Tristan Hevener. Hevener looking for a line. It's lined towards the net and out of bounds to the right, left of Tim Devine. Devine waiting for a fresh ball. He'll get one. Exactly halfway through the second half. 60 minutes down, 20 minutes to go. Game still deadlocked at 2. Devine waits. And he'll send it near out of bounds along this near side. And it seems to have gone out of bounds. So here are the Firebirds. It's Cancelliere. Cancelliere with a roping kick. It'll just barely land out of bounds along the near side. Here's the two-hand forward inbound again by Charlie Metz. Metz goes to his favorite target of the day. In Sean Boyle. Now here's Lucas Herrera at midfield. Herrera trying to go back and forth with it. More fancy footwork from Herrera, but he'll quickly lose it, and it's lofted into the air again by Cancelliere. Head ball up for Ethan Beede. Beede goes crashing to the ground as well as a forward, and the forward player is down. He went up for a head ball with Ethan Beede. It looks like both their heads collided. No yellow card or any penalties issued, but possession will be awarded to the Haverford High School forwards. So players from both teams talking to the referee during this brief break. Haverford will have possession at midfield. So here's the pass into center. Here's Haverford with the best offensive opportunity of the half, and it's quickly turned away by HGP. Headed straight up into the air. Here's Haverford. It's a one-on-one. A pass to center. It's deflected by the latter, one of the two, and it's lined towards the net again. It's just missed. The Firebirds get lucky twice, and it stays 2-2. 18:22 remaining in the half. It's a quick two-hand forward inbound again by Haverford, and it will go out of bounds immediately. The Firebirds take over deep in their own zone. More great defense for the Firebirds, but a little bit of luck mixed in this time. Another two-hand pass in on the inbound for the Firebirds. It's turned away early by Haverford. And now Haverford tries to do their work. Along the far side, going back and forth. The pass to center is an open man. But the Firebirds take it away from him. It looked to be Metz that was open in front. Here's Labrant Davis. Davis showing his speed again. Gets the pass back. Davis tried to block a pass, but Haverford takes over. And now it's quickly lined right back to Labrant Davis. The whistles sound. The hand is up for by the nearest referee to us. And Haverford has it. It'll be sent down near the Haverford bench, headed up into the air by a mixture of two players, and it goes out of bounds. So the Firebirds will inbound it outside the enemy's bench. The pass will go just over the head of Labrant Davis and then lofted high up into the air at midfield. It's kicked towards the net again by Beede. Now Herrera goes back. Lucas Herrera dumps it off for Labrant Davis. Davis into the corner. Keeps it in. Lines to center right for Burns. Burns hits it. Now here's Walsh. Walsh, he'll lose it. Tries to battle his way through. And then Jace Bauer had an opportunity to kick it back towards the net. Missed it. And now Bauer will inbound it. He'll tap the ground once and pick it back up. Moving his men around. Bauer runs it up. Two-hand pass in, intended for the tall Beede. But it's deflected back out by Haverford. And then try to go back in with the Firebirds. Again, it's deflected back out. More great defense from the forwards, and they're preventing anything from getting towards the net. Here's Haverford again. And now it's quickly turned away. Burns balls it to center. Labrant Davis is there. Davis dumps it off for Lucas Herrera. The Firebirds will have another opportunity. Herrera patrolling the outside. Herrera goes down again. No penalty called. Here comes Haverford. It's headed back up towards midfield by the Firebirds. Beede will be there. And now possession changed again to HGP. It's Herrera for Labrant Davis. Will Davis make a move in? He will not. He'll wait for more attackers. Back to center. And it's lined right near out of bounds. It'll trickle out. Or stays in. It's passed to center again by HGP. It's Burns looking to wait for a reset. Burns going around the outside of the box. Passes it down for Labrant Davis. And it goes out of bounds. Off the pole vault pad. Back behind the net. 14:54 left to go in the second half. Can either team get something going here late to prevent it from going to overtime? Or will we have extra time to decide this one? Still deadlocked at 2. A completely different tale between these two halves. At this point in the last half, 3 goals have been scored, and 1 more will be scored in the next minute or so. But in this second half, not 1 goal has been scored, although there have been many opportunities for both teams. Here's Haverford. And a great sliding play by Daniel Price. No penalty called against him, nor should there be. Ethan Beede towards the sideline. It's kept back in. Here's Haverford. A ground ball pass. Going back and forth with it are the forwards. Now to pass to center, and Devine scoops it up. Devine scoops it and holds. Away at the outskirts of his box with a tad under 14 minutes to play. He'll run his own men out. Bauer sent out to the left, but Devine goes to the right. Here come the Firebirds. And it's lined almost out of bounds, and it will go out of bounds by Haverford. Price takes the 1 bounce pass from one of the coaches of the Haverford High School forwards. And now Haverford again tries to go up along the far side, but the Firebirds have possession. It's lining towards the net. Here comes HGP for Labrant Davis. Davis, a line shot towards the net, and it goes out of bounds over the head of Harrison McClements. 13 minutes to go in this regulation time. Lucas Herrera will have a corner kick opportunity. Can the Firebirds make good use of it here late? It's still 2-2. It's lined towards the net. It's headed right out in front. It's a slow 1 bounce pass. Now it's headed right back towards the net. It's passed back out in front. Attempted to be cleared by Haverford. It does not work. Haverford with another opportunity to clear it. That does not work either. And the Firebird is down at midfield. It looks to be Anthony Ramos, who slid out in front of it to block a clearing opportunity, putting his body on the line. laying flat on the turf. Will get back up a little bit. With 12:19 or 12:12, the time's still running. 12:10 left to go in regulation. It remains 2-2, but it looks like the Firebirds will be able to inbound. And Ramos gets back up. Looks like he just needs to catch his breath for a minute. So Ramos will walk it off. The Firebirds will not inbound. It will be Haverford ball with number 2, Charlie Metz, as the inbounder. Time continues to tick. Now down to 11:40. Metz with the loft in. Beede and Burns with 2 head balls. Beede again gets it from Lucas Herrera. He'll loft it back up into the air for the other Herrera, Oscar Herrera. Now Walsh along the near side. Walsh deflects it off his back. And it'll be a Haverford ball. Charlie Metz with the inbound. A Ford goes down, still battling for the ball. And it seems to be out of bounds again. And it will be this time off of Haverford, so the Firebirds have possession. 10:48 to play in regulation. There will be a 10-minute sudden death overtime period if the game cannot be decided in regulation. Here's Walsh cutting on in. The Firebirds send it towards the net. Labrant Davis with a head ball. Out in front. I hear the Firebirds coming on the far side. Lucas Herrera, a shot, and it just curved to the left of the net. There was an opening for the Firebirds to do something. It did not turn out. It did not work out. Hit the Firebirds again with Herrera. And Herrera has the play blown dead. And it'll be a Haverford ball at the outside of the direct offensive zone box. McClemens will be able to clear it. It'll be lofted down towards midfield over the head of the tall Ethan Beede. Haverford will go on the attack. And the way the second half is going, a goal here for either team could be fatal for the other. Burned to the line drive, but out of bounds. It's headed for Herrera or Labrant Davis, but neither of them anywhere near it. Another two-hand forward pass in as the forwards crept on in. And now a tripping call will go against the Firebirds. A Firebird looked to be priced, slid out in front to try to get everything, or try to get anything besides the ball. But the pass was sent away before Price could prevent the slide. So now Haverford with an offensive chance. Divine fighting the sun. That's a huge advantage for Haverford. Will they make good use of it? Haverford waiting. The whistle sounds. Here are the forwards' opportunity. Cancelliere comes out in front of the block, and the shot goes way high. The Firebirds will see another day as Tim Devine comes out of his own net to get the fresh ball, and it's a 2-2 game. 8 minutes and 13 seconds to play in the second half. Devine lines it up. Devine sends it down for Bauer. Bauer has the ball headed away. And the Firebirds have possession. Along this near side, over near the stands with 7:50 to go. The game's still tied at 2. The ball headed up in the air. Here's Burns. Burns dumping it off for Herrera. Herrera goes tumbling to the ground again. And calls for a penalty are answered. The Firebirds get the penalty called against the forwards. And they have the ball. It looks to be Price and Burns. At Price, they'll kick it down. Price to center, and it's headed away by Haverford. Here come the Firebirds to the one bouncer on the near side. It's cut back. The ball loose out in front. And now here is Owen Mulhern. Mulhern kicks the ball back towards his own net. Haverford tries to turn him away. They will. Here are the forwards. It's Okafor Norke, who was in the shoving match with Fanelli earlier. And this is Fanelli, who will clear it back down. And it's headed back up by Haverford. Burns with 2 head balls. Here's Cancelliere. Cancelliere loses it. Here's HGP again. Fires a pass. And now Herrera tries to corral it in near the scorer's table. Haverford coming along the far side. And it's swiped away by Ethan Beede. Beede coming along the far side again with Labrant Davis. Davis with an opening. Labrant Davis is going to have a chance. Davis, a centering pass, and nobody home. Haverford with a quick clear down along the far side in between the scorer's table and Jeff Jacoby's cart. Here's Norke at midfield. Norke tries to weave in between defenders. He'll get the pass back. He'll have an opening, but he's quickly covered by HGP. And a great sliding play by Lucas Herrera. Great defense as he's had great offense all day. Now some defense to go with it. Here from the Firebirds with Walsh. It's Walsh trying to cut on in. He loses the ball. Now here's Haverford. And a forward is taken down by Cancelliere. Play will be stopped as Walsh had to step over another forward. And another forward is down at midfield. It may be Charlie Metz that was down at midfield. He'll be back up. And he calls time to try to catch his breath. 5:06 left to go in the second. Possibly in regulation before a 10-minute sudden death overtime period where one mistake could cost the team big. It's a 2-2 draw. 4:48 to play. Here come the Firebirds. And it'll be Jace Bauer, who lined it out of bounds, calls for it to go against Haverford, but it will not. It'll be Legend Russell for Haverford with another corner kick. Only Haverford's second of the game. The forwards line it down. It's headed out in front, and it's corralled by Tim Devine, who has had a not very busy second half. But when he's had some action, he's made the most of it. Rebounding from the 2-goal first half that he had go against him. Devine sends it down again for Herrera. And the Firebirds just need one mistake from Haverford, and they can easily take this game into a 3-2 final score. Here's Burns. Burns trying to strip away the forwards, and he'll do so successfully. Gives it to Price to inbound. 3.5 to play in regulation and ticking. The forwards head ball out of bounds, and the Firebirds will inch closer towards the net with another inbound. It'll go back in towards Oscar Herrera. Now it's Herrera to his brother Lucas Herrera, and he was taken down. Here's Walsh. Lofts it towards the net, and it's caught by Harrison McClements. McClements, a drop kick boot over near Jace Bauer. Bauer headballs it, and it goes out of bounds, so Haverford takes over at midfield with 3 minutes to play. Here's the one bounce pass. It's Charlie Metz who passed it in. Metz at midfield. Ball bouncing around. Here's Haverford going along the near side. Haverford with Metz. Metz gets tripped up, and the whistle goes against Haverford, and the Firebirds take over. Two and a half to play in regulation. Still deadlocked at 2. After a high-powered, high-scoring first half, there have been almost 40 straight minutes of no score. A lot of opportunities, but nothing coming of any of them. Here comes Haverford, but Haverford is turned away. It's Burns. Burns trying to go up the middle, but he will not be able to. It's Haverford taking over again. And the forwards along the far side near their own bench trying to get towards the net. They'll stay along the near side, and it goes out of bounds. The Firebirds have possession once more. Beede with a two-hand forward inbounds pass. It goes over the head of Labrant Davis. Here comes Haverford. The forwards across midfield. Dumps off to the near side. And a Firebird takes down Owen Mulhern. Mulhern will slowly get up. And with 1:15 to go in the second half, the first goal, or the next goal, could end the game. Not a lot of time left in regulation for a team to come back, and if there is no score, it'll be a sudden death overtime of 10 minutes. Final minute of play here at Holy Ghost. Haverford lines it up. They'll send it towards the net. It's headed back towards the net. Kicked in. Saved by Devine. And Tim Devine with a very clutch save in the closing seconds of the game, or closing seconds of regulation. Devine lines it up. Devine sends it down. It's Cancelliere. You try to go for the head ball. It's turned away by Haverford. Here comes HGP. It's Herrera. Herrera looking for Labrant Davis. Davis gets it back towards the net. Walsh looking for somewhere to go, and it's kicked out of bounds by Haverford with 16 seconds to play. The Firebirds are going to be on hurry-up offense, looking to get a possible corner kick in. 10 seconds to play. It's going to come down to the wire. It's Ruppersberger, who lines up in the corner with 6 seconds to play. Send it towards the net. It's out in front. It's loose. And it's kicked away by Haverford. And that is how the second half will end. Deadlocked at 2. 40 consecutive scoreless minutes put on by both goaltenders. Kudos to Devine and McClements for an action-packed second half. We'll have a brief intermission before a 10-minute sudden death overtime. It is the Firebirds 2, both by Labrant Davis, who will go for a hat trick in this 10-minute overtime period, and then 2 for the Haverford High School forwards. We'll see you in a few.
Easton.
So we'll start this 10-minute sudden death overtime period with this game deadlocked at 2. Some score updates from the other game today for the Firebirds. The JV team loses 2-0 also to Haverford, and for the freshman team, able to survive without a game. So the Firebirds looking to split the series against Haverford 1-1 in today's games. Haverford, it appears, will start with the ball. And they will. 10 minutes. In this sudden death overtime. It was just 40 straight minutes of scoreless action. How much longer will it be before one team puts it in the net? It's Labrant Davis who goes flying. Try to get the ball towards the net. It does not work. Here comes Haverford. It's the forwards taking it down with Tristan Hevener. Now Price trying to play some good defense and clear it out. Haverford going back and forth with it. It's Okafor and Norke. Had the ball for a second. And now it's quickly turned back over to the Firebirds. Lucas Herrera. Herrera sprinting back and forth. Herrera with a dump-off pass. Here's Burns. Burns goes back to Labrant Davis. Davis with some good defense while playing offense. Now Davis. Over into the corner. And it appears to be a Firebird ball. Here's Price. Gets the pass back. Price towards the net. And it is lofted up. Loose out in front. Kicked in and scored! The Firebirds win in overtime. What an inbound by Daniel Price to get towards the net. The Firebirds mob at midfield. Hard to tell who put it in. It may have been Fanelli. Price lined it towards the net. It goes right off the crossbar out in front of McClements. McClements could not control it. It bounced out in front. Fanelli backed it up, and Fanelli whacked it in the far left corner. 3-2 Firebirds win over Haverford High School. Like I said earlier, there were 40 straight scoreless minutes in the second half, and it only took 90 seconds in overtime for the Firebirds to win. And what a way to do so, with a long right-on-target pass by Price to set up Fanelli. We'll be back in a few minutes for a post-game recap and a dramatic ending for the Firebirds in a 3-2 HGP win at home to continue the home win streak. Again, your final score, the Firebirds Yeah. Okay. So the Firebirds take this one final score of 3-2 over the Haverford Fords. They currently sit third place, or they did sit third place in the rankings behind number 1 Radnor and number 2 Phoenixville before today's 3-2 win. Let's see how this win affects the rankings. So for the upcoming schedule, the deciding meeting to determine the final rankings will be on Saturday, October 22nd. The Firebirds hoping for third place for an easier matchup. However, that could change. They possibly could move up or down in the rankings after today's win. That same day, October 22nd, will be our senior night as well as Pennsbury's senior night, as both teams will face off against each other in a late night game at Macclesfield Park, home of the Yardley Makefield Soccer Club. It will be streamed by WBCB at WBCBsports.com and their Facebook page, WBCB Sports. Some future games after that will include the district quarterfinal on October 26th, which is a guaranteed home game for the Firebirds. The district semifinal on November 1st will be unknown if it is a home game. If it is, we will have the stream for you. If not, unfortunately, we will not. For the district final, it will be November 3rd at a neutral site, so we definitely will not have that stream, but we'll still wish the Firebirds luck from HGP. So for the state playoffs, the first round will be November 8th, quarterfinal is November 12th, semifinal November 15th, and these are all at neutral sites. The final being November 18th at Eagleview Middle School in Mechanicsburg. So to close that out, I'm Caden Stewart. Thank you to Matt Rockwell for setting this whole set up. And the Firebirds win 3-2 over the Haverford Fords. Again, your final score, Firebirds 3, Fords 2.
Holy Ghost is on the move.
Yeah, Firebirds had a lot of momentum.
Right from the jump for the Firebirds, who look really good.